Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It has been a hot minute since I last posted and just wanted to provide some updates for you guys just on where things are at for me in my life and with my business. So I'll just get straight to the point. I sold my main high ticket dropshipping business. This was a several month process that took up quite a bit of my time and energy and focus and attention, and so that's kind of why I've been quieter on the YouTube front of things and the Instagram front of things, but just wanted to use this video to kind of talk about what led to that decision, kind of what the process was like. On top of that, just wanted to give an update just on upcoming things. I'll do my best to condense this down into, 5 to 7 minutes. So first I'll talk about, I guess, why I chose to sell my business, why now, why ever. There were several things that led to this. The biggest motivating factor was that just in the next couple of years, my wife and I plan to have kids, or at least start trying to have kids. And just with the associated expenses that come along with that chapter of your life, and the fact that we have a mortgage, the fact that we'll have new life expenses in that regard once the little ones come along, we just wanted to have a pretty significant amount of savings on hand just to have and just to make us feel comfortable as we enter that period of our lives. So that was a big factor of it. Another factor was the business was at a very good selling point. And as a business owner, if selling it one day is ever on your radar, you definitely want to think strategically about it as far as when are you going to provide the most value for a seller? And also, when do you think you will get the highest return for your own payday? And so it's kind of balancing those two things, because you don't want to sell a business when it's on the decline. You want to sell a business when it is on the incline, because A, it is more marketable for the buyer, and B, you put so much time and effort into this business that you want to see it off into good hands, and you want to be able to provide the opportunity for someone else to grow the business. You want to leave potential for growth within the business. And so for me, that was a big motivating factor. Was it was a good time to sell the business. It was continuing to grow, it was profitable, and there were a lot of things that could continue to be done to the business. All of these factors contributed to a pretty short sales cycle, relatively short compared to what's usually seen on these brokerage platforms. And so that kind of leads me to my next point, how I went about selling the business. So there are a lot of different brokerage platforms online for selling online businesses. And for businesses like mine, the most common ones, there are really two of them. One of them is Flippa, and the other is Empire Flippers. And between the two, both have their own advantages and disadvantages. The one that I ended up going with was Empire Flippers. For the people that are in my high ticket dropshipping course, within the course, I'll go much more into depth as far as the actual process and the factors that I weighed between the two, Flippa and Empire Flippers, and why I went with Empire Flippers. But just for the sake of this video, for the sake of our conversation here today, Empire Flippers is the one that I went with. They were an excellent company to work with. Their reps were always responsive. Because their commission fee is slightly on the higher range as far as percentage goes, it is 15%. It's in their best interest to help deals move along quickly too, because any deal that goes through is more money in their pockets. So they did an excellent job of just making the process very straightforward for both myself and the buyer of my business. As far as the items that were needed from me, from business financials to business details, like what do day-to-day operations look like? How much time do you put into this? What type of work do you do for this? Pretty much all of that was very itemized and very straightforward, and it was just up to me to enter that information and provide it and provide proof of it. And aside from that, they do an excellent job of also pre-vetting their buyers as well. So buyers need to show proof of funds, so their platform doesn't end up with a lot of people that just kick the rock down the road that aren't actually looking to actively buy something. And so it's for that reason, and for a lot of other reasons that, again, I'll talk about in my course, that I decided to go with Empire Flippers. The process from beginning to end, from the time I signed up with Empire Flippers and initially submitted my business for pre-vetting to the day that I received funds into my bank account from the sale of my business, it was about 2.5 months. And again, that is remarkably quick, particularly for the current economic climate. And what they were telling me when I first got started in all of this is they were expecting, this would probably take 4 to 6 months. And I'm like, okay, that's fine if that is what it is. At the same time, it also wasn't something that I wanted to take that long doing. And so that kind of influenced how I listed my business as far as the price goes. In contrast to, right now, this year, they said a year ago and, even 2 years ago, in the heat of the pandemic, when the economy was very, very different, before interest rates went way up, before inflation went way up, a business would sell within a couple of weeks in certain circumstances. So I listed my business in early June, and within a week, I had 3 interested buyers that set up meetings with me. I met with all of them. And again, I'll go more into detail about what those calls actually look like in my course. But it was a lot of them just asking questions of, how I went about making the business, why I chose the niche that I had, basically trying to figure out as much information about the business as possible. And there was one particular buyer that saw the value in it. He was US based, which is something that I was very much preferring as the seller. And after several calls with him, he ultimately decided to buy the business. And over the past month or so, I've been training his virtual assistant on all things customer service. He has a digital marketing team that will be running Google ads that I've been meeting with kind of on a semi-weekly basis. Just showing them the Google ads account, getting really into the weeds of the account history of like what's converted, what hasn't converted, different times of year, different campaigns to run in certain geolocations throughout the United States, again, depending on the time of year, pretty much everything that it was involved with the business. And so, yeah, that over the past several weeks, pretty much a month now, the business now belongs to my buyer, but as part of our agreement, in the terms of the sale, I've still kind of been acting as like an advisor / employee of the business, just training all of his people on how to do stuff the most effectively. So my wife and I are traveling to Italy here in 8 days from now. Right now it's August 1st when I'm filming this, and that's going to be kind of when I fully step away permanently from the business. So all in all, very straightforward, pretty painless experience, and the payday was obviously very significant, and that's, for a lot of people, that's the biggest motivation to build and sell the business. It was the most money I've ever seen by far enter my bank account at a single time, and maybe will be the largest amount of money that I ever see enter my bank account at a certain time. So as far as how much I listed it for and sold it for, it was a 31x multiple on the monthly profit that I listed it for, and it sold for a little below that. So for context, 31x is actually pretty low. The valuation that Empire Flippers will give you, and this is not unique to Empire Flippers, this is kind of how a lot of these brokerages operate, is they'll take a look at your monthly profit, they'll take a look at all the work that goes into it, the type of business that it is, and they'll give you a valuation of, usually the average is a 34x multiple of the monthly profit, so 34 times the monthly profit. Well, I listed mine for 31 because I wanted this to not take upwards of a year, and that alone, I think, is part of what got 3 interested buyers within a few days of listing this thing. So that's where things are at. Very happy with how it went. And again, very, very significant payday for myself and for my wife, and just giving us a really good foundation for the next couple of years with us entering into these next chapters of our lives. So as far as other updates, I will be having a podcast on the YouTube channel with one of my current students who in his first month of running Google ads made 26,000 in revenue, which is pretty excellent. That's much better than I did. That's much better than most people do in their first month. So I'll be having him on the YouTube channel and just kind of hearing his story, his experience with high ticket dropshipping so far. And also just want to plug my course. The course is still very much active, and this new portion I'll be adding soon, the modules of how to go about selling your business. And I think it's going to be a pretty lengthy piece of the course because there is a lot that goes into it, because it's something that you kind of have to look ahead and plan for, months in advance, as far as when to think about an exit and how to go about an exit. So again, very exciting time to be a high ticket dropshipper, and also a very exciting time to be a high ticket dropshipper in my course. I'll have the link to the course in the description. And just a heads up for anyone that is trying to email me right now, I've been having some Gmail issues. My Gmail account connected to my vCommerce Academy domain is not letting me send outbound emails to almost anybody right now. I think it's a problem with my DNS settings. So I have to figure that out. So if I don't get back to you over email, that's why I would recommend shooting me a DM on Instagram instead right now. So that's about it for this one. Again, just wanted to provide an update on the business and just things coming up. So if you're thinking about getting into high ticket dropshipping, really recommend checking out my course. I do think it's a lot of valuable information that led to me being able to build and sell a business at a pretty substantial price point. So I think that's about it for this one, and we will see you in the next.